It's 12:17 p.m. A few miles from the small town of Saratoga, Texas, lies a narrow road called Bragg Road. In daylight, it looks like an ordinary forest path. But after nightfall, locals avoid this road because they believe a woman still cries there. This is not just a ghost story. It's a mystery that no one has been able to answer to this day. October 2018. 24-year-old Daniel Harris was a travel vlogger. He used to make videos about various haunted locations in the United States. Most of the time, he dismissed these stories as superstitions. One day, he came across the story of Bragg Road. Locals claim that a white light can be seen at the end of the road late at night. Sometimes it comes closer, sometimes it moves away. Others say that a woman's cry can be heard before seeing the light. Daniel didn't believe it. He decided to spend the night there alone. 11:48 p.m., camera on. Today I will prove that all these ghost stories have no basis. He smiled lightly. Only pine trees and darkness around. Nothing but the sound of crickets. The first 20 minutes were completely normal. No sound. No light. Just as he was about to pack up the camera and return, a small light flashed in the distance. At first it seemed like a motorcycle, but the light was completely still. Then it started moving slowly. Daniel zoomed in on the camera. Nothing is visible, just a round white light. Nothing else. Suddenly, a very faint sound is picked up by the camera's microphone. It seemed like someone was crying. Daniel didn't hear the sound because it was later heard during video editing. But at that moment, he was just looking at the light. The closer the light got, the colder the surroundings became. Even on a warm Texas night, smoke began to come out of his breath. He was surprised. Is such a change in weather possible? Suddenly, the light stopped. Daniel turned on the torch. There was nothing in front. The road was empty. No people. No cars. No animals. He looked at the camera again. Just then, the camera screen showed for a few seconds a woman standing on the side of the road, white dress, head down, long black hair covering her face. Daniel immediately looked back at reality. No one. He looked at the screen again. She was still standing there, not in reality. She was on camera. Instead of being scared, he moved forward. Maybe it's a camera glitch, he said. 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. And just then, the woman slowly lifted her face from the screen. But in reality, there was still nothing there. Daniel ran back. The camera started shaking. The video only had the sound of her gasping. Then, a clear female voice, very low. "Don't look back." He couldn't hear it, but the video recorded it clearly. Naturally, he looked back, and that was his biggest mistake. There was no one behind him. But as he looked back, the light disappeared. The whole forest was silent, as if all the sounds in the world had stopped for a few seconds. The next morning, Daniel uploaded the video. Thousands of people watched the video. Many said a woman's cry could really be heard in the video. Some claimed a woman's face could be seen for a few frames in the 17 minutes and 32 seconds of the video. Daniel, of course, said, "I didn't see anything myself." But the real incident happened 3 weeks later. He returned to Bragg Road again, this time with 2 more friends. 3 cameras, drones, audio recorder. Everything is ready. But no video of that night is on the internet today, because all the memory cards got corrupted together. Only one audio file was able to be recovered. There was first the sound of 3 people laughing. Then, suddenly, everyone was silent. About 20 seconds of silence. Then Daniel whispered, "Who is that?" His friend replied, "That's standing behind you." Then the recording ended. Daniel never went to any haunted location again. He also closed his YouTube channel. A year later, in an interview, he was asked, "What did you really see on Bragg Road?" He remained silent for a long time and said only one sentence. "What I saw, it didn't see me. But the day it starts seeing me, I won't live anymore." After that, he never spoke about the matter again. Even today, many people claim to see mysterious lights on Bragg Road. Some call it a reflection of natural light, while others think it is part of local folklore. But almost everyone agrees on one thing. If you ever see a white light slowly approaching you on that deserted street late at night, then don't walk towards it out of curiosity, because it's safer to leave some mysteries in the dark than to go looking for answers. 2:14 a.m. A 911 operator answered the phone. A young man's trembling voice was on the other end. He kept repeating one thing: "That's not a human, but he's calling our names." Then for a few seconds, there was only the sound of the wind on the phone. Then, a woman's voice, in a very calm tone. "Don't tell them I'm here." Then the line was disconnected. To this day, no one has been able to explain that call. Devil's Backbone, Texas, a mountainous region between Austin and San Antonio. For years, strange stories have been circulating around this area. Many claim that strange lights, shadows, or strange voices can be heard here late at night. The truth of these claims has not been proven, but the area has long been known for its mysteriousness. November 2021, 4 college friends, Ethan, Mark, Lucas, and Emily. They decided to go camping for the weekend in a secluded spot near Devil's Backbone. A local old man warned them. He said, "If anyone calls your name after midnight, don't answer, even if that voice sounds like the person you love the most." The 4 of them laughed it off. 11:50 p.m. The fire is burning. Everyone is talking. Someone is playing the guitar. Everything is completely normal. Exactly at 12 o'clock, the surrounding forest suddenly became unusually quiet. A moment ago, there was the sound of crickets. Now, nothing. Ethan said, "Isn't it strange?" Mark smiled and said, "Maybe all the animals are asleep." But Emily noticed that the flames weren't going straight up. Instead, they were bending in the same direction. It was as if some invisible wind was pulling only the fire. 12:17 a.m. Lucas went a little further from the camp to get water. Just a minute later, he screamed. The 3 of them ran. Lucas stood still. His face was white. He pointed forward with a trembling hand. But there was nothing there. "There was a woman standing there," he said. "She was calling me in my mother's voice." The others didn't see anything. Everyone decided to go back now without spending the night. They got in the car. The engine started. But the GPS wasn't working. There was no signal on the mobile. After only 5 minutes of driving, they were back at the same campsite. No one could understand anything. Mark said, "Impossible. We came straight on the road." They went out again. 10 minutes later, the same place again. The fire was still burning, as if they hadn't gone anywhere. Emily started to cry now. Just then, a voice came from the forest. "Emily!" Exactly her father's voice. Emily was about to run. Ethan caught her. "No, that's not your father!" But the voice came again, closer. "Emily, I'm here." Then one by one, Mark's name, Lucas's name, Ethan's name. Each time, the voice of a different familiar person. 1:38 a.m. They locked the car door and sat there. Suddenly, footsteps around the car. Not one, not 2, many. But outside the window, no one, just sounds. Slowly, walking around, occasionally, tapping on the roof of the car. Talk, talk, talk. then complete silence. Ethan dared to look out the window. At first he saw nothing. Then, a man stood in the distance in the gap in the trees. Very tall, unusually tall. You couldn't see his face, but he didn't move, just standing. The next moment, he was gone. A second later, right next to the car. No one saw him coming. Just then, Ethan called 911. Miraculously, the call connected. He quickly tried to tell them where he was, but the operator kept saying, "Sir, I can't hear anyone except your voice." Ethan was surprised, because all 4 people inside the car were screaming. Then, the operator on the other end of the phone suddenly went silent. After a few seconds, he said slowly, "Sir, is that woman standing behind you with you?" Ethan slowly looked back. The back seat of the car was empty. No one was there. Then, a cold breath next to his ear. "Now you see me." The call ended. The next morning, park rangers found their car. All 4 were sitting inside, alive. But no one was saying a word. Doctors examined them and found that there were no injuries on their bodies. But they seemed to be in severe mental trauma, although the 3 of them gradually returned to normal life over the next few months. Ethan was never completely normal again. He repeatedly claimed that someone would call his name at night. And, if he answered the call by mistake, the same tall, shadowy figure would stand outside the window. The strangest thing? While analyzing the 911 call record, experts noticed one thing. In the last 10 seconds of the call, in addition to Ethan's voice, another voice could be heard in a very low voice. It said, "Another one left." Who was being spoken about? No one knows to this day. Maybe it was just audio distortion. Or maybe that night was not over. Because there is a saying in the Devil's Backbone folklore that has been around for many years. If someone calls your name late at night, ignore it the first time, ignore it the second time. But if you answer it the third time, then only your body will return. 1:03 a.m., a deserted highway in Texas. A truck driver was recording his nighttime commute on a dash cam. Suddenly, a man was seen standing in the middle of the road. Black suit, white shirt, both arms at his sides. He wasn't moving. The truck driver honked his horn. The man just slowly raised his head and gave a smile that no human face should have. The driver didn't brake and sped away, but a few seconds later, he looked in the rearview mirror and saw the man was still standing right behind the truck, not running, not walking, yet at the same distance. How? He could never answer that question again. There is an old road in South Texas, which many still know as FM 666. This road has been the subject of many strange folktales for many years. Many people have claimed to see mysterious figures at night, although there is no reliable evidence of these incidents. December 2022. 31-year-old Jake Marshall was an experienced long-haul truck driver. He did not believe in superstitions. His truck had a dash cam, GPS, and a small video camera. He always recorded his journey. It was raining that night. The road was almost empty. Suddenly, the GPS screen went black. There was no signal. There was no network on his mobile phone either. Jake said annoyedly, "It started again." Just then, in the light of the headlights, he saw a man standing in the middle of the road, completely still. Jake honked his horn. There was no reaction. He turned on the high beams. This time, the man's face was clearly visible, unusually pale. His eyes seemed to be completely black. But the scariest thing was his smile. The sides of his face were stretched so much that the skin would tear. Jake drove past without braking. He said to himself, "Strange man." But 5 seconds later, his chest heaved as he looked in the rearview mirror. The man was right behind the truck. The same smile, the same posture. It's impossible. The truck was going about 80 miles per hour. How could someone be standing behind? Jake kept looking in the mirror. Every time, he was there, at the same distance. He increased the speed to 90, then 100 miles. Still, the man didn't get lost. Suddenly, the truck's radio turned on by itself. Static. Then, a male voice. Very calm. "Don't look back." Jake immediately turned off the radio, but a few seconds later, the same words were heard this time, from behind the truck. He decided to stop the truck. He pressed the brakes. The car stopped. He dared to open the door. There was no one outside. The road was completely empty, only the sound of rain. He breathed a sigh of relief. Just then, the sound of the door closing from inside the truck's cabin. Step! Jake turned around. Someone was sitting in the driver's seat. The face was not clearly visible in the darkness, but 2 rows of white teeth. The same smile. As Jake ran forward, there was no one inside. Everything was empty. He thought, maybe he was hallucinating due to excessive fatigue. 2:46 a.m. Finally, he reached an old gas station. There was an old employee inside. Jake explained everything. The old man was silent for a while. Then he asked, "Was the man smiling?" Jake shook his head. The old man's face turned pale. He said slowly, "If he smiles at you, then he hasn't chosen you yet. But the day he stops smiling, there won't be time to run away." Jake didn't stay there for another moment. He set off again. But this time, the dash cam stopped recording on its own. Then it started again. The time in the video didn't match. Only 2 minutes had passed on the clock, but in the middle of the video, a blank section of about 30 minutes. What happened in those 30 minutes? No one knows. A few days later, Jake returned home and started watching the videos. Everything was normal. Then, he froze in a frame. The dash cam reflected someone sitting right behind the driver's seat. Jake was driving alone. When he paused the video and zoomed in, the face became clear. The same person. The same smile. But this time, he was looking at the camera, not at Jake. From then on, Jake's behavior began to change. Friends would say that he never looked in the mirror for long again. He would cover all the mirrors in the house with cloths, because he claimed that every time he looked in the mirror, the person would come a little closer. Not in reality, only in reflection. 6 months later, Jake disappeared. His truck was found abandoned on the side of the road. The engine was still running. The doors were open. But Jake was nowhere to be found. The police report found no evidence of a crime. Only the last video on the dash cam was strange. In the last 10 seconds, the camera shows Jake. He slowly looks into the rearview mirror. Then, his face contorted with fear. He said very softly, "You aren't smiling anymore." Even today, many truck drivers claim to have seen an unusual smiling face on a deserted Texas road late at night. The truth of these incidents has not been verified, but a warning has been circulating among locals for many years. If you see someone standing on a deserted road in the middle of the night and smiling at you, then don't even look in your rearview mirror. Because the first time, he's standing on the road. The second time, he's behind your car. And the third time, he's no longer outside.